Hello, I want to show you pills. These are anti-inflammatory drugs. So the X-ray shows that I cannot walk if I don't take them. So this is my prescription. 6 that have to be renewed until the end of my days. But in 2 years, they're going to put a metal hip. But they're all here, my pills. Now, this is following an accident. So before the 3rd of September 1989, I had a good health. I had no problems. I had never heard of RHUMART. But on the 3rd of September 1989, I had a car accident. It was a very bad accident. It took 5 days before the doctor said that I could live. So all the left side was really fractured. Sorry, I feel emotional. So I had fractured ribs. We couldn't see the left lung on the X-ray. I had broken pelvis. I was in the hospital in Drummondville, but I had extraordinary care there. They took care of the lung fractures, and I was transferred to Maisonneuve so that they can take care of the fracture at the hip level and pelvis level. So Dr. Roy operated, and I had a left lung that functioned at 20%. And the following day of the surgery, they said that they hesitated before proceeding because they were afraid that I would die. And when I woke up, I was on an artificial respirator. So I was awake, you know, every 12 hours because I was afraid to die. So 2 days after the surgery, we start physiotherapy because I was going to start also having antidepressants because I was screaming. I mean, and now I can't even remember the pain. It seems a long time ago. But anyway, I left the Maisonneuve-Rosemont Hospital at the end of September. I went back to Drummondville because the lung was still problematic. So I had a pneumothorax X-ray, and they put a drain in there. And I left the hospital on the 19th of October, 1989, in a wheelchair. And they said that I couldn't walk normally before 1 year. That was the 3rd of September, 1989. And since February 1990, I'm functioning quite well. So I had tried everything to try to walk. I tried to get out of the pain. I tried the walker, crutches. I tried everything, positive thinking. I tried to read things on natural nutrition, yoga, meditation, and I was wondering how I could continue to function because after 5 months after the accident, I had really problems to walk. And what I didn't know is that I had degenerative osteoarthritis, and I didn't think that this was the case. And I heard about the RHUMART, and I was wondering, I had read so much stuff, and I had tried so many things. How come I didn't hear about RHUMART before? And I was skeptical because I didn't want to go there because a friend told me about, and I didn't really trust this friend because she tried all sorts of weird things, you know, new things. But I was more or less forced to go with her. So I went to see Mrs. Desilets because something happened, and I went there. So Mrs. Desilets, you know, when she said that I had metal in my hip because, you know, she said, we're going to try your treatment at 2 because when you have orthopedic metal, we're not supposed to do something. We're going to try it at 2, you know. So there was no reaction. So that was pretty good. So I started again 2 days after. I had another treatment. I cannot say that it was much better, but there was nothing really that indicated that I shouldn't repeat it. But I had to drive for half an hour to go there, and I had problems sitting in the car. I didn't feel that better because I had my crutch, and I had my treatment. But after the 3rd treatment, now don't forget, the first treatment I had it at 2. After the 3rd treatment, I drove in my car. I went back home. And when I climbed out of my car, I saw that there was a difference. It doesn't hurt. I can move. It doesn't hurt. And after the 4th treatment, I realized that this apparatus had become indispensable. You know, I couldn't see, the speedometer. I couldn't see things because my eyes weren't good enough. But after the 4th treatment, I went to see Madame Desilets, and I said, it can't be. I can see everything on, at what speed I was driving. It was incredible. I can see. So I said, look, I'm going to use this apparatus for the rest of the days. Imagine you. I didn't have 100% improvement, but I could move. So I started reading on the subject. She had gave me also some cassettes, so I listened to them. And I said, gee, it's expensive. And, I was in immovable property. And following my accident, I couldn't continue my work. So Madame Desilets said, today banks can lend you money. And I said, I don't have the money to buy RHUMART, but I need it because I cannot live without it. But I was convinced not only did it improve my rheumatisms, my sclerosis, I also had a stomach ulcer following the accident, and the doctors couldn't do anything. They gave me Maalox, and they said, well, you'll probably need it for the rest of your life because you're going to keep your ulcer with you. But when I had my ulcer, 3 or 4 weeks after using the machine, the RHUMART machine, then I said, gee, RHUMART works for an ulcer too. So finally, I would like to say that one of my friends saw how I was functioning. He said, you can't continue like that. I'm going to lend you the money so you're going to buy the machine. So when I had my ulcer crisis, I did have the apparatus. So what do you think? I tried it, okay? And I tried it right away. I tried it for wounds, and it wasn't good enough. So I changed the method. I put one in front, one in the back, and I saw it, and it was really working. No longer did I have an ulcer. Before, there was a burning sensation. That was over with, and they had told me that I was stuck with it for the end of the days. My memory, my concentration following the accident was terrible because they kept me 5 days in the hospital. I was, artificial respirator, and I had morphine because of the pains, So I had no longer any memory. I had no longer any concentration, after spending those days in the hospital. So I said, how am I ever going to go back on my 2 feet? How can I function? But Jesus really loves me, because when Dr. Drolet says, the patient does a third of the way, the machine does another third of the way, and Jesus does the rest. And he has done it because my memory has come back to me. This has happened in September. In February 1990, the physician told me that I could go back to work with my crutches, my problems, and he didn't give me any anti-inflammatory drugs at that time, February, March. I couldn't work in the immovable property, so I went back to Montreal because I was a receptionist before, so I decided to go back to my old job. So April, May, June, July 1990, I woke up at 5 in the morning. I went from Drummondville at 6:30 in the morning to Montreal in the traffic on the Champlain Bridge. Then I came back at the end of the day, and I went to have my treatment also at Sainte-Séraphine. And that's 1 hour and a half drive. So, and then I moved to Montreal in July, and look at me now. The 30th of July, I went to see my physician with my x-rays. He gave me anti-inflammatory drugs. He said, poor girl, you cannot walk without these. I had high heels. He says, look, in the case of degenerative osteoarthritis, it's not going to, get any better. So in 2 years, you have surgery, a hip in metal, and they're going to do it, I'm really lucky, before I become completely disabled on the left side and on the right side. And then I said, but RHUMART, can it help? I said, doctor. He said, RHUMART helps. It regenerates the cells in your body. He says, in your case, it's not going to regenerate anything. So my next appointment is the 30th of January. This is his first prescription, okay? All the pills are there.